Whoa! Hello everybody, it's me, Dr. ZRice, and we're back here again with a video talking about movies. That is right, it's more movie talk. And no spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, which is the brand new release that 99% of you guys that's probably the reason why I clicked on this video, was for Spider-Man No Way Home, which I just got done seeing. What is it now? About 10 o'clock. I saw it at 5:30, ended at around 8-ish. My god, there was a lot of things racing through my mind, as there usually is with these types of videos where I'm just sitting down talking about movies. No filter, no script, just going off from the top of my head. But today's a little bit different because we're doing a ranked list. I've ranked the Ghostbusters films, I've ranked the Halloween movies, but today we are ranking all 9 of the Spider-Man films. We got Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, and of course, Spider-Man No Way Home. Where does each of them rank on my personal list, and how did I feel about No Way Home? Again, there's going to be no spoilers, no way. You know, I work at a movie theater, at an AMC. I'm an usher, you see, so I clean up all the theaters after everyone's, you know, cycled their way out of their seats. And you gotta wait till the last person's done, and then you go in and you start the process of sweeping everything up. And I just hate it when I'm just, you know, I have the door open for somebody and they're like, oh my god, can you believe that? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, can you believe that? Blah, blah, blah. You hear these whispers and you're like, Jesus Christ, I haven't seen the movie yet. I just want to see the movie. So, I don't know, just make sure that you're far away from people, I guess, when you're talking about movies, especially us at the theater, because some of us do want to see it. So why not we just get right into it? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna keep. Yeah, I did not rewatch any of the previous Spider-Man films before going into No Way Home. Actually, I've only seen every Spider-Man movie once. I know I've seen Into the Spiderverse twice. I've seen Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films. I've seen those once in the theater when I was like a kid. And I've seen Homecoming and Far From Home once in the theater, and I've seen the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies countless times. Those are the ones I remember the most, and that might affect why I have them ranked on this list in this way. I can see this list causing some debate among the Spideys, the Spider-Man fan. We need a name for this fan base. What are we going to call ourselves? The fans who love Spider-Man. Are we the Spideys? Are we the Spider-Men? The Spider-Men? Oh, it has to be all-inclusive, of course. So Spider-Gals? Spider-People? Are we the... No, that sounds lame. We're going to move past that. As you can see, I am not the biggest superhero fan. I was at one point when I was a child. But then, all that sort of changed when I explored cinema. And I just went into this charade of watching all types of movies. So many things that just kind of, you know, open up my mind a little bit from just the normal stuff that you would see in a theater. This is how I dress to the movies. I got my Halloween hat. I got my House Nobuhiko Obayashi shirt. Great movies through and through. Very different from Spider-Man and all the other Marvel movies. I gotta say, top 3 superhero films. Logan, Dark Knight, Endgame, maybe? Okay, so I felt a lot of emotions in Endgame, and I felt a lot of emotions in No Way Home. Let's just get into it. Number 9, we have The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And the reason why I say this one is the least of my favorites is because I remember some of it. Of course you remember the eels, and of course you remember Electro and how he got that way, and you remember some of the fight scenes. I remember there was this giant like electricity fight in New York City. And I know I wasn't going to say any spoilers, but I'm mostly talking about no spoilers for No Way Home, because why else? Well, I mean, the other Spider movies have been out for years, so I think we could talk about spoilers for them. So, spoilers for the other movies, no spoilers for No Way Home. Okay, let's continue. So, I remember Electro and all that all that good stuff. And of course, I remember he couldn't save Gwen. That was a big turning point in the film. Very important, and for this character and for the arc that he had. However, everybody knows it has problems, and from what I can remember, I didn't enjoy it as much as the other Spider-Man films that are on this list, and that's why it's so low. I'm not saying it's the worst superhero movie ever made. There's been clearly worse ones made, but it's fine. It's fine. Number 8, we have Spider-Man Far From Home. Yes, I told you this list might be controversial. For all of you Tom Holland fans and stans, I do like Tom Holland. I think he's a fantastic actor, and he's making his way up in this world. Would love to meet him one day, shake his hand and say, hey, you know when you were Spider-Man? Yeah, that was good, man. But Far From Home was a little strange. I remember there was all this stuff about drones and Mysterio. Is he good? Is he bad? Well, I knew because I'm a comic book reader. Or I was, at least. I don't really read too much. But Far From Home is just, I think it was okay. It really picked up at the end there with the reveal of Peter Parker as Spider-Man. That was the kind of moment that I was looking for. That's kind of, you kind of want these shocking moments in superhero movies. These revelations, these big, crowd-pleasing, oh my god, did that really happen moments? And I feel like that only came toward the end. You know, MJ and his friend Ned, they were all fine. It was all funny stuff all around. And I think there was like a Iron Man zombie scene in it. Yes, yeah, Mysterio was giving him some weird like hallucinations. That's the best way I could describe it, but you know what I'm talking about. Oh god, maybe I'm wrong on this. Every time I do one of these videos, I'm always like, maybe that should be higher, maybe that should be lower, because as I'm talking about it, I'm starting to remember all of the stuff that I didn't originally remember when I made this list, because I have them all written down on my phone here. The list that we're going through. Okay, number 7, The Amazing Spider-Man. The first movie with Andrew Garfield. He's fighting the Lizard Man. I always think of Edward Nygma when I think of that guy, because he just gives me the same vibes. I don't know why. Maybe Scientist Man? Maybe that's why? Who knows? This was the first movie with Andrew Garfield, of course, when he sort of came into this Spider-Man, and when they were, at the time when they were remaking it, it was all like, oh my god, they're recasting Spider-Man, but Tobey Maguire was so awesome. Of course, Spider-Man 3 had a lot of problems, and so Sony had to do something. They had Spider-Man on their hands. The MCU was already taking shape. This was 2012, I believe, when this came out. The Andrew Garfield one, the first one, that was like Avengers was already coming out that year as well. And so yeah, it was a stuffed year. And but I do remember watching it in the theaters. I even got a poster of it, an Amazing Spider-Man poster. You could probably see it in the back of so many of my old videos in my old room and at my old house. But yeah, I did like that movie. Again, I've only seen it once, so I was like, I don't know what else I could say about it, so we're just gonna move on. 6 is, you might be surprised this is high up on this list, is Spider-Man 3. Yes, Spider-Man 3 is above Far From Home. Do you know why? Because it's more memorable to me. People talk about Spider-Man 3 all the time online. There are so many memes of it. There are so many laughable, hilarious, memorable, maybe for the wrong reasons, moments. And it's one of those ones where I just watch all the time as a kid. Was it overstuffed with villains? Heck yeah. You got Venom, you got Sandman, you got Goblin coming in, kind of. So many things are happening all at once. I can see why people think it's a mess of a film. But again, you got Bully Maguire, you got all sorts of goodness in that movie. It's highly entertaining, and Sam Raimi had a little bit of trouble finishing his film. There was going to be Spider-Man 4. We did not get to see that, but there was going to be one more. Nobody really talked about that, though. But hey, I think it's fun. I think it's funny. It's memorable. It's really goofy and really silly. And I know that's probably not what they were going for. When I was a kid watching that, when I was like 4 years old when it came out, when I was a kid watching that, and Spider-Man was getting taken over by the black goopiness, as I thought it was just black goopiness back then. And when he get taken over, I was like, oh no, Spider-Man! And I was probably dressed up as Spider-Man. Everybody was Spider-Man as Halloween. Come on now, everybody has a Spidey suit. Heck, I still have one. Top 3 favorite superheroes for me. 1, Batman. 2, oh my god, 2 might be Spider-Man. Oh my god. 3, Superman. DC gets a lot. DC gets a lot of mess thrown their way. I absolutely loved Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think it's one of the 10 best movies made this year, and it still might be in the top 10 after everything that I've seen come out this year, because it's just epic in every single way. But we're not talking about DC here. I'm excited for Flash though. We're talking about Spider-Man 3 is number 6. Number 5 is Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. As I said, I watched this movie twice. Once when it came out. Oh my god, I didn't see it in the theaters. Why didn't I see it in theaters? I guess I don't know. I missed it in theaters. I saw it later. Just at home on TV, and I was like, I watched with my brother and my sister, and I think my dad, and we were all like, that was pretty good actually. Why didn't we go see that? Same with Doctor Strange. Didn't get to see Doctor Strange in theaters, but we all watched it later at home, and I was like, God dang it, that would have been the best movie to see on the big screen, because you need the biggest screen as possible to see Doctor Strange, because there's so many things happening. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was surprisingly good. Surprisingly, like, holy moly, the animation, the voice acting, all the different Spider-Men, guys and gals coming in. Gotta love Spider-Ham. Nicolas Cage is in it. Dude. And then I watched Into the Spider-Verse a second time. My school was throwing an event because they felt bad about the whole COVID thing. And they're like, oh man, these seniors really didn't get a senior year. We didn't get a year at all. We didn't get any prom. We didn't get no homecoming. We didn't get no football games. We didn't get nothing. Nada. And so they're like, huh, you know what would make up for this? If we invited everybody into the gym and we watched Into the Spider-Verse. And, I mean, I went to see my friends. I didn't care about the movie, but I did sit there and watch it. And I was like, it's good still. Great movie. Number 4... we have Spider-Man Homecoming, and this is where the Tom Holland supremacy starts to come in. This is where John Watts starts to take form as the new king of the Spider-Man films. I am clearly a horror guy, so I know him for movies like Clown, which is great, produced by Eli Roth. But we got Vulture, we got Michael Keaton. Spider-Man and his friends are going on a field trip. It's absolutely hilarious. This is the funniest Spider-Man has ever been. I do think this is still the funniest Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man Homecoming. I do think it's still the funniest. Just a whole lot of good stuff in there. And the villain at the end, when he's coming out of the rubble and he's like, and he's just like going at it, and it's really that's what you want to see in superhero films. Scenes like that, when the hero is overcoming this emotional barrier, he's trying to overcome himself mentally with his problems going around him, and physically, because Spider-Man has never looked stronger. And yeah. So anyways, that's Homecoming. Number 3. We're getting down to the top 3, boys. Number 3 is Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, the classic, the original. You could argue that Japanese Spider-Man is the classic and the original, but Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, he's a legend here in the comic book world of things. Maybe not in all of cinema, but to us comic book people, Tobey Maguire is a staple of what heroes should look, talk, and act like, because he does really come off as a hero. And Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, but he really puts it all in this movie. And I just remember so many great memories watching Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Heck, look at this. Look at this what I have. I got this big old DVD set of the first Spider-Man movie. Cost me some money to get. With great power comes great responsibility. Is that... Okay, I won't talk about it. A comic book, a reprint, I believe, of the first issue of Spider-Man. A little bit of an art print there. This was cool. A film cell from the first movie. Nice. You gotta like that. And the first movie itself on DVD. And there's a little documentary on here. Stan Lee's Mutant Sponsors and Marvels with, hey guys, it's Kevin Smith. So yeah, Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire, the classic. Number 2 and number 1 are both interchangeable for me. And you probably know what is coming up next. These last 2 films are Spider-Man No Way Home and Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock. And Spider-Man 2 is, I think, the most memorable out of all the Spider-Man films. At least I did before Far From Home, because that is just so... I mean, No Way Home. God, these titles, man. Alright, because that one is just so crisp in my mind right now, because I just saw it like a couple hours ago. But Spider-Man 2, it might still be number 1 for me. You can make a case that No Way Home is the best Spider-Man movie. And what was his name? Cosmic Wonder? I think he was saying that this is the best movie he's ever seen. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I don't think it's that. Is the best superhero movie ever made? Well, I told you my top 3. So, I don't think so either. It could be the best Spider-Man movie. It could be. I don't know, though. I really don't. Because it's hard. Because when you're talking about overall greatness in superhero films, Spider-Man 2 does get brought up a lot. And I still think that movie, still to this day, is absolutely fantastic. Okay, we're just gonna talk about No Way Home for a little bit. I went into this movie with expectations. I wouldn't say they were high. I wouldn't say they were through the roof, because I know people have had and still have extremely high expectations for this movie. There are Marvel fans and there are Spider stans that are going absolutely crazy all over the internet. That's all I'm seeing is Spider-Man. And you know what? I think it delivers on the hype. I don't think it exceeds the hype. I don't think it exceeds it. I think it's like, wow, that was great. It's not like through the roof, like insanely better than I could ever imagine. Endgame, I had that feeling for, because the expectations were so high for that movie, and I do think that it exceeded it. And I know there are a lot of haters out there for Endgame saying like, oh, it's a little boring, it's a little slow, and you know, it's a movie for the fans, and there's a lot of fan service, and it doesn't really pay off until the end. I don't care about any of that. I still think, of course it's a movie for the fans. It's 10 years of Marvel experiences and Marvel fun all combined into one film. Of course some people are going to be left out if you haven't experienced the whole 10-year journey. Of course people are going to be outraged that they didn't include some of these guys or include some of these plot points, or, oh, that didn't really make sense, and there's 2 Thanoses. It worked for me. That movie, I had like this gut feeling like, oh my gosh, there was so much doom and so much gloom and so many crowd cheering, crowd pleasing moments in that movie. I still think it's one of the best movie theater experiences I've ever had. It still might be the best. Oh my god. There's just been nothing like that. Spider-Man brought back some of that feeling for me. No Way Home did bring some of that gut feeling. There was definitely crowd cheering and crowd pleasing moments. I could tell you that for sure. Saw it in a packed, it looked sold out to me. I stood up in the theater. I was like, how many people are here before the movie started? and it looked packed. There was people just like shoulder to shoulder, every row. And there were a lot of moments like that where it was just a communal like, a communal gasp. This one, not as funny, but that doesn't matter because I don't think it was going for a comedy. And the jokes that they did have didn't always land, I guess. That's a big concern that I've seen a lot of people going around, but I would say in the grand scheme of things, it freaking worked. And that's why I'm having a hard time putting one over the other. Spider-Man 2 or No Way Home. Because they're both fantastic Spider-Man films, superhero. I think Tom Holland does his absolute best in any movie he has ever been in this film. There are many surprises. Some of you guys might have guessed some of them already. Some of you guys will have no idea. That'll just come out of nowhere. There are 2 post-credit scenes. First one, I was like, oh man, I'll look at it. And the last post-credit scene, I was like, what? Did they show a trailer? I think it was a trailer for an upcoming film. Not gonna say what, but that's what it looked like to me. They didn't specify that it was a trailer, but it looked like we got a whole sneak peek. That's all I'll say. That's not really a spoiler. I didn't really give anything away. They're both like level for me right now. I'm pretty sure if I watch Spider-Man 2 again, I'll be like, oh, this is so good. Then if I watch No Way Home after that, I'll be like, oh, no, wait, no, this is better. It's gonna just keep going back and forth. I don't really have a number one. I mean, how could I when I like so many different movies? And my tastes are so different. And I have movie talks about all sorts of movies. Not just superhero movies, not just Marvel films. I like all kinds, all sorts of things. I'm coming to you as not a massive Marvel man, but just a massive lover of movies. And is No Way Home a good movie? You're darn right it is. Does it make top 10 of 2021? I'm gonna make a top 10 movie list later of my favorite movies 2021. I don't know if it lands on my top 10 yet, because there's been a lot of good movies in 2021. 2021 has been a great year. I love The French Dispatch. I just saw West Side Story 2. Oh my god, is West Side Story better than No Way Home? I'm getting ahead of myself. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's probably way longer than it needs to be. If you would like to, that's it. If you'd like to help support, you can always subscribe. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you Marvel for making an actual good movie. Oh my god, Eternals was absolute garbage compared to this movie. There is no comparison. Eternals was actual trash compared to No Way Home. And if you're a big Eternals fan and not the biggest Spider-Man fan, I'm sorry. But Eternals, when I watched Eternals, I was like, okay, that's it. But now after watching No Way Home, after Eternals, I don't like Eternals. It's just, it's not good. I gotta go to bed. Good night. Subscribe. Do I have any other things I need to promote at the moment? Watch our other movie talk videos. Love talking about movies. Love making movies too. I have a lot of short films. Feature films as well. And so much more is coming up. I'll see you guys in the new year. My name is ZRice, Dr. ZRice, expert film reviewer, critic, and historian. Good night. Hey! Spider-Man. Oh, my hand. Spider-Man. Oh, my